Hello, I'm Nathan Souza, and I have a marine bio project, sort of, that was assigned to me for after watching the movie Sharkwater. I had the option of doing this or a two-page paper, and honestly, I felt I can relay more information by speaking it to you. Pretty much, Sharkwater is a movie about showing the humanity of sharks. They're not all evil, and people have bad thought process on them. They have a bad vision of sharks and view them as enemies, which has led them to being overhunted and almost towards endangerment. Um, a big problem with the shark hunting industry, as we saw, was they use sharks to get their fins, and instead of using the entire shark, which could balance everything out, would prevent them from getting too many sharks, they cut off the fins and throw the sharks back in the water. This kills sharks. They can't swim, so they can't breathe. And it lets them carry a lot more cargo, thus killing a lot more sharks. It also causes an uneven exchange in the entire process of predators and prey. Um, a big thing about sharks is they're also over hunting them in locations which were once sacred to sharks. The Galapagos Islands has now allowed the line drag, which is a giant, like 40-foot line, which they have thousands of hooks on. They just drag across the ocean floor and start taking fish. The problem with that is it makes fishing way too easy, which allows for so many fish to be caught, fish that won't normally be caught. You can be aiming for one fish, so the fish you don't want, you just throw it in, they're dying, they're dead, you're not going to get anything from it. And then it makes it unfair for the sharks. Another big thing about this is like I said, they're infiltrating like once sacred sharking habitats, such as the Galapagos Islands, which um, is off of Ecuador, and that's really bad because that's really the one last safe haven these sharks have. Um, in Rob Stewart's voyage to save the sharks or bring awareness to the sharks, we get to meet some interesting people such as eco-terrorists. Um, these eco-terrorists, as they're called, uh, actually go against the sharking industry. They, like the one we saw in the video, I believe his name is Paul Watson. He goes in a boat, and when he sees people illegally fishing for sharks or just cutting off the fins and leaving, he will follow them and use a can opener, which is a giant piece of metal that curves into a blade at the end of a ship, and you can send it out and drags it across and sinks the ship and or leads them to shore, stopping them from fishing. This can be very controversial. Many countries have sent police after them. In the movie, they got arrested by the Ecuadorian police. If I'm correct, it may be another country around there. We do know that two countries were after them. And it's really a problem because although not everything they do is right, they are biased. It does cause a lot of problems for the shark for fishermen who are they're fishing to support their families. I mean, if you were told that just going out fishing for a couple of hours, taking a couple of fins will help feed your family for a month, would you really not go for it rather than go work 500 hours this month and you can maybe feed your family, maybe not. I mean, you really can't blame them. So, although it takes away from their money, it also helps the sharks. There are pros and cons to this all. Um, Another big thing that we discovered in this is not everything he was saying is completely accurate. There are more shark attacks, just not as many deaths. Sharks will just do a test bite, see if it's their actual prey. So it really gave a fair version of sharks, but also an unfair version. Is very biased. Um, I thought it was actually really interesting when they were off the Cocos Islands. Although they were supposed to be there uh, by the Costa Rican president, they were stopped. So you saw how corrupt the industry actually is, and seeing all their factories and all that. So it really brings to attention how bad it is out there and how we should really be stopping it. I think if we was more aware, we could do a lot more to stop it. And really, the UN and the UN should take the steps first, and countries like the United States and other very powerful countries in the world should hop on a board and help stop this crime. So I recommend Sharkwater, although Rob Stewart comes off as really arrogant at times, very intellectually conceited. It's actually a really good informative movie. Things I didn't know that were going on, like I didn't know there was so much going on with sharks. I know about the line pull technique where they would just take fish upon fish and just decimate thousands of fish in within 4 hours, and then just throw them all back for a few fins for soup. So, I do recommend it. It is very informative. You learn a lot of the issues, but also I recommend doing some further research after the movie, so you really know what's going on. You really can see what's going on for yourself, and not just get a biased opinion from one. Because really, you're getting a shark lover's opinion, not. And yes, he's there. He has really good facts, but you're getting his perspective because he wants you to be on his side. You kind of want to find someone who's unbiased and work off what they're saying, or even find someone on the other side and compare pros, cons, see who's the better argument, and make a decision for yourself. Thank you for watching. This is my first video doing this kind of thing. If it works out well, maybe I'll do more.